Hey, good morning. I hope this Tuesday morning finds you well. And yesterday, the 25th of August, I posted a little historic clip about our Irish heritage. I mentioned in a message recently, I think it was a Wednesday message, about William Wallace and the great Scottish rebel, sometime about 1300, who led the Scots to several victories against the British. And then the Irish had their own problems with the crown. And if you have British ancestry, y'all took advantage of your neighbors. You were pillaging and taxing and not offering any relief. I did some reading yesterday about the Irish potato famine in the 1840s and how all the potatoes rotted in the ground, and England knew that Ireland was suffering, and the basic position of Britain was, well, we don't want to give them too much assistance because then they'll become dependent upon us, and we need to let them work this out for themselves. There was nothing to work out for themselves. They were tenant farmers as it was, living off of potatoes for 10 months a year, and so anyway, yesterday in history, Fiach McHugh O'Byrne at the Battle of Glenmalure led the Irish to a great victory over Britain. I don't know that there was a lot of long-term success by Scotland or Ireland against the British, but Ireland did eventually gain independence, and the Scots have their own culture and heritage as well. So hats off to all of them. But I'm more and more drawn to history the older I get. Don't want to stereotype, but it seems that men have a greater penchant for history than women do. And again, that sounds stereotypical, but it does seem to be more common. Nevertheless, we have a wonderful church history book that dates almost 200 years of our church history, but it was written virtually 25 years ago. So it needs to be updated, and Church Council has said they're excited about taking on that project of basically offering an addendum of 25 years of church history to get us current and near to our bicentennial. The Bible has a lot to say about history. In fact, the word memorial occurs 25 times in the text. We see it fairly early on in Exodus chapter 12, where the Bible says that the Passover meal will be a memorial and still celebrated by Jews today, Yom Kippur, the celebration of God delivering Israel, bringing them out of Egypt. I've already been talking 3 minutes. Let me accelerate this. We see it again, I think, in Joshua chapter 4, a memorial of stones after the Israelites crossed over the Jordan River. A memorial, something to look back on historically and say, look what God did in delivering us from Egypt and delivering us across the Jordan into the land of promise, where we would fight for the land that was promised to us. In Mark 14, we have Jesus at the home of Simon the leper in Bethany, anointed with precious ointment. And there was criticism of that, and Jesus said, ho, 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 hang on, hang on. He said, what she has done will be a memorial, a historic remembrance of her sacrifice. And wherever the gospel's preached, what she has done, will be a memorial for her. So God is concerned about history, as we should be, and so it's nice to look back on a history, a legacy of God's faithfulness. And so whatever your ethnic history, find something there to celebrate. Your family history. Someone pointed out recently, can you name your grandparents? Yes, I can name my grandparents. Well, how many of your great grandparents can you name? And you may be able to name all of them. We'll go back another generation. Can you name your great-great-grandparents? And unless you are really into genealogy, that becomes more and more difficult. The point is, in 3 or 4 generations, your own family is not going to know your name. So where we can celebrate history, let's do so. Let's preserve history as we can. And certainly history is just a testimony to God's faithfulness. Well, hey, a little bit longer today. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great Tuesday. Looking forward to Bible study tomorrow, 11 a.m. and 7 p.m., finishing up John chapter 17. Hope you can be there or join us online. And someone asked on Monday, when Wednesday night suppers would resume. That'll be the first Wednesday in September, September the 3rd. And we've often publicized 6:15, but our Wednesday night supper committee is moving that back to 6 o'clock. And so 6 o'clock, we'll start serving supper on September the 3rd every Wednesday. Looking forward to it. You take care. God bless.